Morning, year six. Today in our maths lesson, we're going to be thinking about how we multiply decimals. So those values we've been looking at where there's elements of a whole, but not a complete whole sometimes, and how we multiply those by integers, so whole numbers. That'll be in the second video. Initially, we're going to revisit some prior learning. As you know, we're still learning some of the aspects of how to use the home learning equipment. So occasionally I might move up the screen like that. And if I do, I apologize. I hope it's not too distracting, guys, but it is good to see you. And I think this morning I will have now seen you on Zoom. So this video might feel a bit strange that I haven't seen it all. Okay, great. I've just seen Malia, you've sent some work through. So thank you for that. And Jeremiah, you and Umaima and Anna Lee keep sending lots through. So thanks, guys, for all the work that come in. Today we're going to revisit work we would have done in year five if things were normal, as it were, but which built on work from year one, year two, year three, year four, and year five. Okay, so this was looking at converting units of time. It's a really important skill for the real world as well as for our maths lessons, but we're going to frame it around mathematical learning today. Just as a quick beginning point, you start by seeing if you can build your knowledge, show your knowledge of minutes, hours, days, weeks, and months and years by matching the correct measure, the correct unit of time to the correct answer. Okay, so how many minutes are there in an hour? Hopefully you're thinking about that. How many hours in a day? How many days in a week? See if you can figure out the fortnight one. And finally, we've got days in a year and months in a year. Okay, just pause the video whilst you think through that, please. Hopefully, lots of you have remembered this pretty comfortably. I imagine most of you have got all of them apart from maybe the fortnight one. Now, a fortnight is made up of 2 weeks. So hopefully, if you're not sure, you'll now know that that is 14 days because 1 week is 7 days. A normal year is 365 days. However, every 4 years, we have what's called a leap year where we have the 29th of February, whereas we normally only have 28 days in February. So every 4 years, we have a leap year where we have 366 days. Just a reminder about that. Okay. Right, guys, we're just trying to find equivalent here. Now, I know Malia will have done this brilliantly, and I'm sure Anish will as well, where they've remembered that in 1 minute, 1 minute, there's 60 seconds. 60 is similar in some respects to 6. So they know then that if 2 minutes, they could do 2 times 6, and that's 12. Doesn't mean there's 12 seconds. It means there's 120 because it's 10 times larger. So 2 minutes is 12, so 120 seconds. What will 3 minutes be then? What will 4 minutes be? What will 5 minutes be? See if you can match these up quickly. Pause your video while you do it. Checking through then year six, and you can see that, yeah, 3 times 6 is 18. Therefore, 3 minutes is 3 lots of 6D seconds, so 180. 18 tens, so 108 tens and 0 ones. 4 minutes is 240 because 4 times 6 is 24, and 5 times 6 is 30, therefore 300 seconds. And Kyron, well done. I know you're about to tell me, yeah, 6 minutes, therefore, is 360 seconds. Well done. Oh, Moise, yeah, 420 seconds for 7 minutes. Well done, Moise. Good job. Okie dokies. Have a look at this. Based on your knowledge, you know there's 5 school days in a week. There's 2 days at the weekend, so you know how many days in total there are in a week. Now, after you've added those two values together and you've got your weekday value, see if 8 weeks is equivalent to 54 days. These two values the same. Working through that, see if you're comfortable with your answer. Well done, guys. Hopefully lots of you have now considered and thought about this and have identified that. It is, pausing, incorrect, because 8 times 5? No. 8 times 6? No. Because it's 5 days plus 2 for the weekend. I'm trying to show those in this camera. So it's 7 days in a week. So 7 days with our Saturday and Sunday at the weekend. And therefore it's 7 times 8, which is 56 rather than 54. So this is false. Okay. Okay. Which one of these statements is correct? So thinking about the number of minutes in 1 hour would be, well done, Hanya, it's 60. Okay, so 1 hour will be 60 minutes. So what we've got to do is identify how many whole hours and possibly additional minutes we have within 720 minutes. So really it's a division, but you might build number facts into how you'd solve that. Have a think about it whilst you pause. Is it A, B, or C, which is the correct value? If I was doing this quickly, guys, I would have got rid of B straight away because I can see that the 2 in the ones value from 12 tells me that's not going to be the correct answer, because I know that each hour is made up of a multiple of 10 of minutes, so 60 minutes. So therefore, when I add those 12 minutes on, I'd end up with a 2 in the ones column. So that can't be right. I also know that 720 is similar to 72. It's 10 times larger. And I know that 72 divided by 12 is 6. And I know that there are 60 minutes in an hour. And therefore, I know that the answer is C. Okay, so some of my number facts which have helped me solve that one. Last one of these before we do some independent work. So having a think about ascending order. So we start with the smallest value and we go up, although I'm going down the screen, and that's how you will demonstrate your answers if you're making notes of them. You start with the smallest value and then you ascend, so you get bigger each time. Okay, so when we ascend, normally we go upwards if we're going up a staircase or a lift. Okay, so which of these values is the smallest, then the second smallest, the third smallest, and the largest? So think about the order you put these in. First of all, you need to convert them. Think about how many months are in 1 year. Pause the video. Great stuff. I'm sure all of you have had a good go at that. I know that you could have seen the green and the orange ones could be easily ordered because they have the same unit of measurement. They're both measured in months. But the purple and the blue at the top, we needed to convert those into a number of months. 1 year is 12 months. Therefore, 2 years are 24 months. Therefore, 1 year is 12 months plus the 4 months makes 16. So therefore, our order is 14 months. Then essentially 16 months is the blue value. 24 months is the purple value. And finally, we've got 26 months, which is the largest value, which is 2 whole years and 2 additional months. Okay, 2 and 2 additional months. Okay, guys, have a look at these questions. Try and solve them on your own. You're finding the equivalent values for 5A and 5B, and then you're seeing if that's true or false for 6A and 6B. Pause the video as you do that, please. Once you've completed sorting that out, can you have a go at these next questions? These ones will be a little bit more taxing, a bit more challenging, but see how you get on with those, please. Okay, guys, you can see here we've got to find what the equivalent to 84 hours is within days. Now, some of these are whole amounts of days, and we know that 1 day would be 24 hours. So to see if you can work out what 5 would be. See if you can work out what 4 days would be. What would 3 days be? So multiplying the 24 hours by the number of days there. And then the second question looked like an awfully big number, but realistically, we know there's 24 hours in 1 day. We know there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So could we multiply 24 by 60? Or still sounds a bit tricky. Could we multiply 24 by 10? 240. 240. Then I've got to multiply that by 6. That would tell me how many minutes are in 1 day. Again, with the ascending for 12A and the descending for 12B, have a go at those. Pause whilst you work these through. Great stuff, guys. We'll have a look at the first sheet now. So thank you for your efforts with these. We can see that 132 comprises, in terms of minutes within an hour, of 2 whole hours, because 2 whole hours is 2 lots of 60 minutes, so 120 minutes plus 12 minutes. Okay, so 12 more than 120 minutes, so 2 hours and 12 minutes. 90 minutes comprises as 1 whole hour of 60 minutes with an additional half an hour of additional 30 minutes. Okay, and therefore we're left with 188 minutes, which is the same as 3 hours, so 180 minutes with an additional 8 minutes. Looking over at our days and our months, our weeks and our years, on the right-hand side for 5B, we can see that 1 week is 7 days, so therefore 7 times 10 is 70, so 70 days is 10 weeks. 4 times 7 is 28, so 14 weeks is 98 days, and then we need 2 more to make 100, and we can work through the other ones. Both 6A and 6B were false due to the fact that somebody might have forgotten that 4 years would be made up of 48, because 4 times 12 months. So 48 plus 6 is 54. Okay, and secondly, that somebody may have forgotten that 5 minutes is 300 seconds, so 300 add 30 is the same as 330 rather than being less than that. Okay. Second set of questions. A for the first one. 3 days would be 3 times 24, so 72 hours. 4 days would be 72 plus 24, so 96 hours. So we know it's somewhere in between there. There's only one value that's in between there, so quickly we could have just worked that out. Or we could work out that 3 days is 72 hours, 1 day is 24, so half of one is 12, so we could have done 72 plus the 12, so 84. As I said, for 2,880 minutes, looks big, but it's not that tricky, guys. 24 multiplied by 10, 240. 240 times 6, 1,440 minutes. That's 1 day. So you've worked out that A would be 1,440 minutes. Looks awful similar to half of 2,880, and in fact it is. So therefore, you know it's C. With 12A and 12B, you needed to be careful. If it was a test, you'd be checking that you're doing the ascending ones for the first set, where the smallest values first, and the descending ones for the second set, where the largest values first. Okay, guys, well done for listening on our work on converting time. We're now going to just have a quick look at the worksheet that you're going to be utilizing for your main lesson today. Your main session is the second video, and that's looking at multiplying, so times in those values which you've been looking at recently in terms of decimals by whole numbers, by integers. Now, if you're doing the first question, which I'm sure all of you will approach, you might go, "Oh, I can't do it, Mr. Spring, not possible, I haven't got any counters." Don't worry, you don't need them. And if you've got them, it probably says that you've been borrowing them from school. I'm sure you haven't. You don't really need to do anything with the place value counters on this. The idea of them is they're just there to help you to look at them. If you decide on any of the other questions, for example, questions 4, that you'd like to use place value counters, draw them as they've been drawn on this sheet. They're supposed to be a tool. They're not something you have to do, especially when we're not in the school building. They're something that's there to help you. The second point I wanted to make about this sheet was if you look at the example, the bottom left that Nija's done, and then you look at the examples that you're expected to fill in for A and B, you can see that they're one square, one digit. I know it's tricky if you haven't got squared paper, but when you're doing these complicated multiplications or divisions, I'd suggest you actually try and make some grid paper. If you've got a straight edge on a tool and you just draw some vertical lines on your page, it will help you just to line things up a little bit, and it just helps your understanding of the place value of each of your digits that you're multiplying. So please think about that. Thank you for listening today. If you're doing this before the Zoom, enjoy the Zoom. If you're doing this after the Zoom, I hope you enjoyed the Zoom. See you later, year 6. Bye-bye.